Hello, world. Welcome to the OG Ty Podcast. This is your host, Tyrone Dawson. Today is November the 27th. Today is Monday. I'm up early. I think the time is around 6 a.m. I'm not sure. But I'm about to get my day started, but I wanted to talk to you guys on today's episode. If you guys are familiar with the Pawn Stars, that is a show where you go to the pawn shop. You can either trade your items in, your historical items, or you can buy historical items. So we're going to get into the story of the pawn shop old man by the name of Richard Harrison. Richard Harrison was the older guy who started this business. His son came in, ran the business for years, and he brought his son. So it's a 3-generation thing going on. This show is located in Las Vegas. It was a hit show. It was on TV. And we're gonna dive a little deeper into what's going on with them at this moment. But we're going to start at the beginning. Pawn shop old man Richard Harrison expected final wishes for his family, and things has become wilding. Pawn shop the old man Richard Harrison has built a quite successful and lovely reputation as one of Las Vegas' favorite businessmen. The gold and silver pawn shop owner has won over our hearts over the years, both as customers and as viewers on historical channel shows. After 4 decades in the pawn shop business, fans and viewers were left stunned and emotions over his passing in the recent years. Yet, it was his final wishes and his family reaction to the truly left fan speechless, confused, and everything that you could think about. Keep on reading about the old man and his puzzled final wishes about his estate. Committing sins long before Sin City, Harrison wasn't necessarily always a businessman oriented, but he was definitely always fond of automobiles. In fact, before he started his gorgeous career in Sin City, he actually committed some of his own sins and somewhat minor crimes involving cars. After he was caught stealing a car in his late teens, he was left with one choice: to serve his time in prison or to serve his time in the U.S. military. So, in order to avoid spending prison time, Harrison decided to draft to the Navy. Surprisingly enough, he ended up continuing the service for 2 decades. He started a family business. Harrison met his wife Joanne in 1958, but the two tied the knot just a couple of years later. Even though Harrison was serving in the Navy, Harrison and his soon-to-be wife felt ready to finally start a family together. Shortly after the wedding, the two of them welcomed their very first daughter into the world, and her name was Sherry. And in 1962, Harrison was released from the Navy and was able to spend more time with his family of 3. Re-enlisting for his daughter. Unfortunately, Harrison and his baby daughter, Sherry, was diagnosed with Down syndrome at birth. As much as Harrison loved being there for the family, the medical expenses start piling up, and Harrison needed to find a way to support his family. Luckily enough, the family health care package that he received as one of his military beneficiaries was the perfect place to help take care of his family and daughter. So a little over a year after he was released from the Navy, he made the decision to re-enlist again. However, a short year after that, the family suffered a tragic loss when Sherry has passed away at a young age. Innocent, age of 6 years old, now heartbroken. It's time for a change, and in 1967, Harrison was transferred over to the West Coast in San Diego, California. Amazingly enough, after serving in the Navy, Harrison flipped his life of petty crimes and earned himself the high rank of a petty officer. Talk about inspiring. During his 20 years in the Navy, the two, both raising 3 boys, isn't all Mama Joanne was up to. They also was getting into real estate. While Harrison was off serving as a respected officer in his unit, his wife was focusing on being a working mom. However, she also was interested in obtaining a license in the real estate business and exploiting the real estate field. 3 years after obtaining her license in 1973, she eagerly opened up her first own business, and once Harrison was released, he teamed up with her and worked a part-time job at her office. But unfortunately, the family was about to endure another round of such tough times of declining in the real estate situation of this decade. In the 1970s, the real estate market in America was hit hard, and Harrison White business took the same hit. They found themselves in a web of mess and debt. Owing a whopping $1 million, they clearly needed to figure out a new life plan fast. And so Harrison decided it was time for another change in his life and his family. And hopefully a little bit of luck also. So guys, this is like one of my go-to shows when I'm just sitting around. And I really respect this family because they get on their grind, they hustle. If the old man wasn't working, the son was working. If the son wasn't working, the grandsons was working. And all of those guys was good negotiators. They brung in experts when they found historical pieces, situations where it was worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. I looked at so many shows. They had race cars coming through there. They was purchasing old guitars that was from back in the 1950s and was signed by that musician. And those pieces are worth $100,000 to $200,000. So I always watched that show. And I'm a big fan of the show, so I just wanted to let you guys hear the story behind the old man, his son, and the grandsons. Because this is an expiring situation. And I always looked up to those guys. Because, I mean, they be putting that work in. And they make money, so let's see exactly what's going on with this family. In the early 1980s, the family moved to Las Vegas, where they would soon build a family empire and the big-time business and merchandise sales and trades. Trying his luck, he said. It was 1981 when the Harrison family arrived to the wonderful city of Second Chance, Las Vegas. Harrison had tried his hands at the Navy, but now it was ready to change things up and try his luck at being a businessman. Shortly after their arrival, with only a few grand in their pocket, Harrison took a gamble and opened up the very own pawn shop, trading shop, gold and silver coin shop. Was exactly what it sounds like, mostly for gold and silver coins. Like did the family knew just how golden in their life was this opportunity was about to begin. Buying and selling items on eBay and online shopping has become such a normal thing to us now. But just a few decades ago, that was barely something out on people's radars. Before apps and online shopping was a thing, people spent their time buying, spending, and negotiating valuable items and personal belongings at the pawn shop and trade shop. Even though the gold and silver coin shop originally focused was coins, that didn't mean they didn't want to limit themselves to just that. He said being great, not just good. Harrison invested $10,000 to start up his business and was already putting in all of his efforts into making things work. So in order to be not just good, but great as a businessman, Harrison needed to learn about all sorts of different items, not just coins. And he needed to learn fast. From antiques and venture items like cars to high-end Rolex watches, Harrison started gaining some credibility, impulsive products, and knowledge about knowing valuables, ventures, and recent items wasn't the only skill he sharpened up before becoming the biggest businessman in Vegas. Negotiation skills, he said. It wasn't clear because he could clue you in on the fact that Harrison was the first and the foremost a family man, and alongside the new impulse businessman was one of his sons, Rick. Rick was a great businessman. He did not play. He knew how to negotiate. He would tell you, I'm only paying this amount for that. And if you don't want that amount, he would tell you to go to the next pawn shop. So he was putting people in the chokehold when it came to that negotiation. His son was the muscle of that business. Over the next few years, Harrison worked hard to be the best that he could be at sales and product knowledge, with his teenage son by his side to learn as well. But learning a bit about a lot wasn't the only thing the two needed to be great at. The two also had to sharpen their negotiation skills, which will quickly become a trademark of the father and son duo. How did Rick get into the business? So guys, how did he get into the business? Because he was in the Navy. And now his son Rick is trying to get in the business. because he see his father out there hustling. So he wanted to be part of the team. So we're going to see how Rick got into the business. Even since Rick's early teen years, he was hanging around his dad at the pawn shop. But why did Rick seem to want to be interested in the pawn shop in the first place? It all started right about when he was about a teenager. Unfortunately, Rick was diagnosed with epilepsy seizures when he was about 8 years old. Because of this, he spent a lot of time in bed hiding and reading countless of books. It is a rumor that the series, The Great Brand, and novel about 10-year-old boys who become up with the way to serve the days while also making cash in the process, is what inspired him to become the champion, negotiator, and hustler that he is today. A passion for history and money. It's safe to say that all of Rick's savage business skills and ear and eyes for spotting true treasures from trash sings from his aspires and joys from reading and learning from books, especially about history, since reading was pretty much all he did do as a kid. He immersed himself with all the sources of historical knowledge. And since he was 13 years old, he was right by his father's side at the store watching the magic happen and learning every trick in the book. So as long with his passion for the history and a unique interest in making money, Rick, naturally born hustle talent, truly shined once he teamed up with his father at the pawn shop. Talk about a resilient and brilliant kid. Together, the father and son bond over the business beyond belief or beliefs. They quickly develop a good cop, bad cop style of negotiation and fed off each other's energy. And before they knew it, it was all ready for an upgrade for their 300 square feet meter shop. So guys, they got together. Two minds work better than one. Father and son got together as a duo. They became mastermind at negotiation. One would play the bad guy, one would play the good guy. It worked. As long as the sale gets sold or we collect a profit, it works. So they got so good at it that they had to get a bigger place to do business, because now the son came in with this hustling mentality and he wasn't playing. However, at the end of the day, it wasn't just their product knowledge and negotiation skills that helped get them to where they are. The old man was naturally a understanding and recognizing the occupancies and true value of a product, and was knowledge as the king of purchasing underpriced merchandise. And his father said another big move, because becoming big time stars on the History Channel. As each day went by, both Harrison and Rick worked hard to sharpen all their pawning skills, with Harrison as a natural-born appraiser and Rick as a natural-born hustler. By 1986, the family was ready for another big move. Excitingly enough, within just a few years, the business proved to be so successful that now more experienced hustler was able to upgrade and expand the shop to a much larger building. However, the business lease was meant to end in just a couple of years. So what would the family do to them? Come 1988, the business license for the gold and silver product has came to an end, and Harrison was left at the end of the crossroad. Hold on, guys. Yes, we are back. Sorry for the interruption. However, he finally felt like he found his calling and loved everything about the pawn shop. And of course, who wouldn't love all the excitement, commotions that things happen in Vegas on the Strip, with thousands of people from all walks of life flocking to Las Vegas? There's no doubt that he encountered and was in a presence of all the sorts of amazing afflictions, antique items, and full of interesting backstories. So the old man decided to keep it going and moved to another location to keep his business flowing. Harrison found the perfect spot for his new shop, just a couple of miles outside of the world famous and beautiful Las Vegas Strip. And not only did they expand the shop size, but they also expand in a term of content as well. While their concept of pawning stayed in the same, instead of focusing only on coins, they were now focusing on everything and anything that could be worth a pretty penny. And with a new storefront comes a new name too. From the gold and silver coin shop, they transitioned to now the world famous gold and silver pawn shop. Everyone was excited. Customers was coming in from left to right. They were spending $10,000-$20,000 on historical items. People was traveling from all over the world just to get a piece of history or sell a piece of history. Also, they had a TV show, and things just got out amazing. The views was just out of this world, and it was just a beautiful thing to watch these guys negotiate with customers who stood on their prices, and the owners stood on their prices. So I just was excited to see who was going to win on the back end. Decades later, the store is still standing tall, strong, and proud. From just $10,000 in the 1980s, Harrison flipped his life around and created a multi-million-dollar business, acquiring over 10,000 items in the store, possessive and inventories in the late 2000s. The store reputation was set on the heartwarming father and son bond between Harrison and Rick, their spot on skills for negotiation and appraisals, and the incredible vast stock of inventory. But as the years passed, the store became much more than just a workplace for Harrison and his son. While it quit a common practice to take over the family business, once your parents retire, getting into a business with family isn't always such a good idea. However, the Harrison has proven time and time again that they are savages and just absolutely inspiring. For the first decade of the gold and silver pawn shop, Harrison and his son Rick worked together, but looked like they was ready to bring on one more player to the game, or should we say a family member. So guys, the father and son worked together for years, so they had to bring one more player, and it was the grandson. And this is a third generational family business here. And let's see exactly what energy did the third party bring, or what did he do, because usually when it comes to these grandkids, they don't respect it like the father and son, because they feel like they entitled to whatever the father and son built. They don't want to work as hard as the father and son. And when you do give them a job or position, sometimes they come in late, they do what they want, they feel like I'm fired, then they come in a week later, I'm part of the family, why would you fire me, then they give them the job back. You guys know how that goes. So let's see what the third generation talk about. It would be young Rick negotiating skills, and eye to tell a real treasure from a fake knockoff that would earn his nickname as the Spider. Later on in life, it turned out that the natural salesman skills and pawn shop potential wasn't just luck or talent with Rick and Mr. Harrison. It was clearly special trailed that ran in the family. Once Rick's young son Corey was 9 years old, he took an interest in the pawn shop game as well. Even since the early 2000s, he's been helping out his father and grandpa at the store too. How sweet is that? Love by locals and the world. The three Harrison men and Corey. The three Harrisons' childhood's friend Austin Russell built themselves quite a reputation as the gold and silver pawn shop, and was took in storm in the pawn shop world. Not only did the Las Vegas local love the fact that the family business was ran by three different generations, but pretty soon the whole world will become a big fan of their lovable personalities also. So how exactly did Harrison go from business owner to one of the American famous reality TV stars? Well, it just started with his son's personality business idea. It was Harrison's dream to become a businessman and run his gorgeous pawn shop with his family. However, Rick suddenly came up with a new dream and wanted to document it all. Rick was determined to nail down all the details of the TV show idea and give the world a taste of what the adventure life at the pawn shop looks like. The basic concept of the now super successful and famous shop was to document the amazing day-to-day life that the Harrison family shared together at their multi-million-dollar empire. Little did they know just how successful this would be. Even with online shopping and selling on the app eBay, business was booming at the gold and silver pawn. And it turned out that people love watching the show just as much, if not, than shopping at the shop. Not only did they gain millions of viewers, but the shop also became one of the biggest tourist sites in Las Vegas. Not just that, but since the series kicked off in 2009, the pawn shop is still one of the most loved and favorite American TV shows. Talk about a dream come true. Richard Harrison life story is truly an inspiring one. While he had quit a few rough times and obstacles in his life, he sharpened his mind and opened his eyes. Passion, drive, and kind spirit is what kept him going. As a dedicated and loving man to his child and wife, there is no doubt that he worked hard to give them anything and everything that he could from his heart. But after a long life of adventures, Harrison would be faced with one final challenge and battle. Losing the final battle, they said. From stealing cars as a teen to collecting beautiful vehicles as an adult, there is no doubt that Richard flipped his life around and did the best for his family and his life, which is one of everyone's, both family and friends. So guys, what do you guys think about Mr. Harrison giving his kids a better life, an opportunity to become a boss? They didn't have to work for nobody. And also, they became the biggest TV show that the household loved. I was a big fan. I still watch their TV show. And I'm pretty sure there's millions of people around the world also watch it. But this is the success story that they have. And you know, here on the OG Ty Podcast, we talk about real life situations. We talk about success. We talk about trying to uplift the community. What can we do to become a better community? And you can learn from someone else's struggle. Just because he did it doesn't mean you can't do it. So if you are interested in opening up a pawn shop, hopefully this story will inspire you. You will go do your research. You will look and see exactly what you got to do to open a pawn shop. And you will move forward. This is why I discuss these stories here at the OG Ty Podcast. I do it for motivational purpose only. Because there's somebody out there that's going to gravitate to this story. And they're going to become the next pawn shop owner. Which is why everyone, both family and fans, was incredibly sudden when the old man was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And unfortunately, after losing the battle against his illness, the cherished and well-known Harrison passed away on June 25th, 2018, at the age of 77. But guys, 77, he lived a full life. He had a beautiful wife. He put his sons in positions to be millionaires. He put his sons and his grandsons in place to be superstars. When you live a successful life, fulfilled life like that, and when you passed away, you gave it all you had. You gave the world all you had, and you gave your family all you had. So at 77 years old, as his passing, he is considered as a legend in my eyes. When I hear success stories like this, It motivates me. Whatever I'm lacking in life, if I could pick up a motivational book to get me back focused on what I need to do and what God wants me to do, I'm all for it. So these stories like this is not just for just talking. It's about getting inspired. It's about getting motivated out here if you feel like you have no other options. Because he was a car thief. He went to the Navy. He had 3 kids. He was in debt. His wife was in a $1 million debt situation. He lost his daughter from a diagnosis. But think about it, people. Did he give up? Did he fall on his knees and cry? No, he didn't. So if you could just read between the lines and see that you're not the only one that's going through something. We all are going through something. So you need to get up. Bow your head to the man upstairs and ask him to guide you through all of this. Because your story is already written in his book upstairs. It's your job to go day to day to day to day to complete your story so you can become a legend. After his father passing, Rick posted on Instagram saying he lived a very full life, and through the history television show Pawn Shop touched the lives of people all over the world, teaching them the value of loving your family, hard work, and humor. We appreciate everyone through and prayers and ask that we are provided with a little bit of privacy at this time. Even though Rick and Harrison was working day in and day out together at the pawn shop called Silver and Gold, Harrison loved each and every one of his boys dearly. When Harrison first wrote his will, he included all of his boys and his wife as the beneficiary. However, in 1997, there was a slight change in the will. So what happened, guys? Why was there a slight change in the will? I don't know, but we about to get to it. We about to get to the nitty gritty. We about to see what's going on here. Apparently, his youngest son, Chris, was removed from the beneficiary. The old man was officially documented statement said, when words go out that Chris wasn't included in the will along with his brothers, the public left was with a question mark. The family never disclosed the reason for the change and are waiting to keep the private family matters closed. Yet they are mentioned that there isn't a surprise, and it was something that they were all aware of and discuss together as a family. According to the Blitz, Harrison court document stated, I would like to express my love and affection for Chris Harrison. However, for the purpose of this will, I have intentionally and with full knowledge failed to provide him with any and of his issues. So evidently he had issues. That's what Pops was saying. He said, I have intentionally and with full knowledge failed to provide for him and his issues. So basically, Did he have a drug problem? Pops wasn't dealing with his drug problem. Grandpa wasn't dealing with his drug problem. Because he said, I failed to provide for him and his issues. This was written in the will. He changed the will, and this is what he wrote for his grandson. And his name is Chris Harrison. So I don't know what's going on, guys. You tell me. But we're going to get back to the story. We're going to get to the nitty gritty. The change in update will be stated that Harrison's wife and children Joshua and Rick were beneficiaries, and that Rick would inherit the estate. As even though Harrison's reasons to change his will is unclear, it's clear that his family was supportive and stood by his side until the very end. One of the day of his father's passing, Rick uploaded to Instagram a picture with the caption, Richard Benjamin, the old man Harrison, passed away this morning suffering by those who loved him. He will be tremendously missed by our family, the team at Gold and Silver Pawns, and his many fans all over the world. But Harrison was so much more just a businessman. He was a loving husband and a great father, and also, on top of that, he was gifted with business skills. Rick also mentioned on Instagram posts just how much of an inspiration his father has been to him all these years. The only hero in my eyes was my dad. To get a very cool old man as my dad, I got to share him with the world, and they got to see what I felt. And as a great parent and a man, he was something I am grateful to have experienced with him. Harrison's legacy at the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop will continue to live on through his beloved son Rick, his grandson Corey, and his great son Ashton, aka Chumley. The remarkable pawn shop founder Richard Benjamin Harrison lives in the majority of his life in Nevada, but he was born and raised all the way on the other side of the country in a small town called Dansville, Virginia, back in 1941. And while he met his lovely wife Joanne at a young age, they were 17. Harrison was known to get all of the sorts of trouble here and there because he became the well-known family man and businessman founder we know as today. So, who exactly are the other members of the family that they are keeping the beloved business strong? So, who's keeping this business strong, guys? I don't know. But the old man passed away. The son definitely, he ain't taking no prisoners, because I watched him. He is a tough negotiator. His father taught him well. So, as heartbreaking as it is, it has been everyone involvement in the store and the business. Everyone knows that the show must go on. Each person has a role to play in the store, and the new owners has been working to keep their pawn shop skills shopping. Rick the Spotter has been known to always be the glue that holds the family and business together. It seems like that's still true for today. He joined the team when he was only 23 years old and has been involved with the store for over 3 decades. But not just all he's been up to, and let's see what's going on all these years. Producing another show. While it's clear, crispy clear, that Spotter is meant to be in the buy and sell business, Rick has dabbled in a couple of other adventures, things on the side. As we mentioned earlier, he came up with the idea of a show, pawn show, and has been one of the producers since it was birthed in 2012. But Rick also was the executive producer on one show of Blood, Sweat, and Hell. That was back in 2014. However, it was cool, he said. Other than that, Rick been mostly focused on the store and show when it becomes to his career and his path. Big Horse. It was safe to say that when it came to Corey Harrison, the apple did not fall from the tree. While his grandfather and father has created a pawn shop legacy as the Old Man and the Spotter, Corey Harrison also developed his own unique skills to bring to the table ever since he started helping out at the pawn shop at the age of 9. Known as Big Horse, Corey is also about his business, behind the scene functions of the business, like hiring the perfect gold and silver pawn shop employee, as well as letting anyone who doesn't fit the pawn shop go. And while he also managed the eBay clients, Corey's special talent has been an expert at the appraisal and spotting a cheap or fake item. Not a day goes by that Corey doesn't appreciate how great to be part of the family business, as well as a member of the family also. On June 25th, 2018, Corey tweeted a post on Twitter, Pops, as he called the old man. Pops was a great grandfather and beloved character by everyone. I was lucky to be born as a Harrison and learn as much about life from him. I miss him and will carry him in my heart forever. We are gratefully for the outpouring love everyone is sending our way and hope everyone has a fond memory of him to share with a smile. Speaking on being a part of the Harrison family, that's one special individual that made his way into the Harrison heart and earned his place as a brother from another mother. Since childhood, Corey and Orton Chumley Russell has been best friends, and because he has been around the shop just as often as Corey himself since they were kids, Austin quickly earned himself a spot at one of the owners. AKA Chimley does not always make the wisest business decisions, but nothing beat his incredible sincerity and kind heart that takes excellent customer service to be on a whole new level. Even if Austin wasn't blood related to Harrison, he might as well has been. The sweet, kind-hearted young man was welcomed by everyone. So, on June 25th, 2018, Chimley also tweeted a heartfelt post on Twitter saying it's hard to believe he is gone. He was such a big part of my life and treated me like family. I will miss him greatly and carry the lesson he taught me without, through, and in my life. He could always count on him to straighten you out or make you laugh, and both those things were needed. So guys, there you go. That's the story there. On the pawn shop. And I just try to go over stories here at the OG Ty Podcast, just to let people hear the backstory on what goes on in people's lives. Just because we see these superstars on TV and we don't think that they go through real life issues. Because I remember being 9 or 10 and seeing a superstar on TV. I just thought they were the perfect people. But when you hear backstories, these superstars got more issues than a person on the streets. They just have money that they created where they can uphold themselves to standards, and they can live a lifestyle that makes them seem like they have no issues. But guys, I'm not going to hold you up. We are here on the OG Ty Podcast. We go over greatness. We go over situations. And guys, I hope you can come back to the next episode, because we will be back with some more bangers. So just stay tuned here at the OG Ty Podcast. But I want to say, God bless, stay safe, and we are out. Peace.